Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Alejandro Perez, the CGI Nerd. In this video, we're going to be going over how to create this hard surface model, and it's a low poly drone character, and it was really fun personally to do. I hope you guys find it fun as well. If you want access to the actual source file, the project that I created this in, that will be available to patrons on my Patreon account. So if you're interested in that, go over there, check it out. Other than that, let's get started. Okay, to start off, I'm going to be blocking out the geometry for the drone that I'm making. Okay, so we have an empty geometry node now. And let's try creating a torus to start off with. And not that way. Not that way. This way. There we go. Do 90 degrees. And we kind of have a donut shape, and then we can adjust the different radiuses. I think maybe at the end I'll end up rescaling everything because each one of these units here up to here, that's 1 meter, so this is like 2 meters big. I want it to actually be a small type of drone, kind of like bug-like, but I'm going to block it in just kind of whatever comes naturally in size right here, and then we'll go from there. Maybe something like that for the thickness. I'm liking that. Okay, let's get a sphere. And this is gonna be the front, so let's merge these together so that I can easily see them together. I could template it as well so that I can see it, so instead of having the display there, I could, for example, do this and then do that, so that way I can see it together. But I just like to merge them and then display it there. Work with this node here. Okay, so let's go to polygon mesh. That looks good to me. Not that way. I want to put the... Actually, do I want to? I'm thinking of putting like the pole in the front, but if I do that, it will be more difficult to get rid of. If I leave it the way it is, it's going to be more easily removed. Okay, so it's kind of there, and then let's move it towards wherever the front's going to be. So I'm going to kind of have that. Actually, it might be easy from the top. And then here, I'm just going to blast away all of those faces. Let's unlock it. There we go. And then let's go back to the perspective view. And I'm just kind of looking back and forth at my my concept art on another monitor that we have here. So I kind of like this, but maybe it's just too big. So let's take the object and just make it a little bit smaller. That makes a little bit more sense for me. Okay. And then if let's put the display here, but I'm gonna look at, actually let's put the display here and then template everything else. There we go. Okay, so on this one, I want to blast away like everything that we had before. So let's copy and paste that. Oops, I still want it connected here. But on this one, I'm going to blast away a little bit more. So let's go here and then going to blast all of that. Ooh, too much. There we go. Nope. Not sure what happened there. That looks right. And let's connect that. There we go. And that looks right. Cool. And then we'll do this. Let's bring the visual back here. And then on this one I'm going to transform the geometry. And let's bring it up a little bit. And that is kind of it there. I do need it to kind of come in at a angle. I do like it kind of being up and down the way it is right now, but looking at my concept art, it's probably a little bit more stretched, so let's do that. But the pivot's way down there, so we could, yeah, I'll just do that, but then bring it back down, and that's way too much. 1.5, or not 0.15, but 1.5, and then adjust this. That looks a little bit better. Let's put it a little bit more forward, and then I'm going to stretch it in that direction a little bit as well. Okay, and then let's look at it in a perspective because it's probably a little bit too small here. It is. So let's do it like 1.25 maybe. There we go. So that way it has a little bit of room there. And I basically want it to come in at like an angle like that. So I could maybe take the edges here. And let me get these last ones so that way the front edge actually stays where I want it to be. Oops. Okay. And then kind of do that with this and rotate it. Oops. Rotate it. Okay. So we got that. Then I'll work my way up here. So I want to select all of these and then deselect the ends there. Maybe, oops. Let's try that again. Deselect all of these. Kind of move it up, but then scale them down a bit. I could maybe try a Boolean to get it just the shape that I want, but I think I'm going to try to just sculpt it the way, or model it basically, the way that I'm trying to do it right now. Oops. And for some reason I went to some other mode. There we go. Let's rotate these. Oops, I don't want that last one because I want the back to be completely straight. Maybe to get the shape I'm going to delete a row here. And then, now that I've even done that, it's getting closer to the shape that I want. I just need to get, because I do want the bottom, and the gizmo is in a weird orientation, so I want to go to world, so that way I can just move it straight up and down. So if I do that here, that gives me more room to work with it. And then I can rotate and then translate it up. Say translate it kind of way up here. And then rotate it back. Maybe a little bit more. Rotate. There we go. I like that. Okay, I can live with that. And I would have liked all that to be up there. Let's see if we can do it up here still. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to take another transform. And there's a warning on here. Let's see what that warning is. No valid group. Anyways, on here I'm going to rotate this other one not around that way, but around this way, so 180 degrees. And it does look like there's actually an issue with the way it was. It's not deleting the edges the way I was hoping. So let's break these, and it's not a big deal. I would like the graph to be a little bit cleaner, but I don't want to redo all this either. Okay, so I don't need to group all that. So we have this, and then if I cut that out, so now if I want to get that piece, I can do a blast node. Connect that there. By default it's just going to blast everything, but then we can do it by group, and I'm going to make sure I go to primitives, select that primitive, and then push enter. That will do that. They just want to do the opposite, so it's going to delete non-selected. And then I can do a transform, and then merge it back with the rest. Okay, so I want to rotate 180 degrees, and then let's bring this back up here. So that's basically what it's going to look like in the front, kind of like a big lens, and it will have we'll put some details here where it's merging together, but that's kind of the front. It's basically going to have that shape there. And then I want it to have some kind of landing gear, and it's going to have like 4 legs for this one. So maybe to kind of block it in, I'll do it with a box. And I'll merge that in with the rest of it. And then here, just gonna make it kinda narrow like this. Bring it up shorter, because the first segment's going to be smaller like this, and then maybe even skinnier. I want it to feel kind of bug-like. Okay, so I have that. Then I can go into primitives and just shape it. I could also do it maybe with a taper node. But I think basically going to do something kind of like that. And then let's add a, actually we can maybe rotate it now along the Z for this whole object. Basically kind of like that. And then around the X, whoa, not the center, but the rotate for the X. I'm going to do something like that. And then let's move it up. And let's move it over in the X, and I'm just going to kind of block in the positioning. I'm not going to worry too much about exactly everything kind of fitting in. Great, so it's working. Let's do a transform, connect that back in. And we're going to rotate 180 degrees in the Y. So that gives us that leg, and then we want to do that, but let's scale negative, not on the X. Actually, we can do it in the next. Let's do -1. There we go. And then let's merge that in. We have it in the right spot. We just need to reverse it. So let's do a reverse node. That should fix the normals issues. And then let's basically, let's see, which one do I want to take? We'll take the, yeah, we'll take this one. Or we'll just paste whatever's there, whatever we did originally. So let's put the display there, and then put 0 there, and then scale it -1 in the X. That's great. And then we just need another reverse node. There we go. So we have all of the little legs there. And that was our first one. So maybe I'll put it all into kind of a merge. So that way I can do the rest of the legs, and then it will mirror everything else into all the different positions procedurally. Okay, so I like that idea. Let's create a tube. And I'm gonna turn on the end caps, make this a mesh, bring down the height, the radius, and then maybe on this box, just looking at it now, the height is maybe a little bit too much. Just so that we can make everything work, and then let's bring it up, and then a little bit over. That's an okay place to start. And then let's take this tube and let's rotate it. Not that way. What way? It's going to be on Z. And then let's, oops, not rotate, but adjust the center. Bring it up. Bring it forward. And then now looking at it, the radius is still too small. There we go. And then the angle is wrong. Maybe want to bring the height a little bit more. And then let's rotate it on the Z. And then adjust the center on the X. And then adjust the center on the Z and the Y. Just getting it right in the position where I want it. That looks okay for now. So then let's make another transform. And on this transform, I am basically going to move these down. And just do a little bit of a uniform scale. Rotate, so we're going to rotate along the X. It's going to look like it's flipping, but we'll readjust where we are going to be putting it. Not on the X, but on the Z. Because I want it to be kind of coming forward now. And actually, before I go too far, let's bring it kind of close to the center, and I want to extend it and make it kind of a longer shape like this. And looking at it, it's kind of a weird shape, so let's see if we can do it with just the box. If not, this isn't too much, and just make another box for it. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do. Let's create another box. It's basically the same. It's just going to be kind of different. I guess that makes sense, right? Let's adjust the size of this. I think that's going to be a lot easier, just starting it here on the X. Okay, let's adjust the center on the Y. And then let's move it forward, which will be the Z. And the positioning still not quite right, so I want it kind of coming down, but not too much. And then let's rotate it. I guess that would be the Y. And then we'll adjust, not the center, the rotate. And let's do the Y a little bit again. X center. It's too much of a movement. Do it something kind of like that, trying to get it semi-centered. I can make some tweaks later on. it's like right on the ground. I was looking to have like another one that kind of comes down at the very end. And maybe that means like the whole thing has to be more moved up. So let's add another transform. Have a super messy graph here. And then this will be kind of up like that. So this is all the leg stuff. This is all the main body stuff. Okay, so let's copy, paste that box, so that way we have another box. And this one, let's get it in perspective. Let's move it forward, which should be Z. And then rotate it on X. I'm going to adjust the height because I don't want it as tall. And then the center needs to go down and push it out on the X. Push it forward in the Z. Do something kind of like that. And maybe have another one of these. So let's move it down. And then I'm going to move it forward. And then let's move it out, which should be on the X. And the radius, let's make it much smaller and too small. Something kind of like that. And then on this box, or is it this one? This one. I want to edit it. So what I want to do is go in and select the face here. And I'm going to scale it down to pretty close to a point. That's essentially the shape that I want to be going for there. And then all of these, it's just a whole bunch of wires, so let's merge them since we know that they are the legs. Y cut. There we go, we got the four legs, and then merge that over there. So later on when we're working on it, we can work on it a little bit easier, just focusing on that area. And then coming over here, we got the whole shape. So let's take all of this here and put it into a network box. And then this is going to be legs. And then we'll take all of this here, do another network box. This is going to be the body. Can expand it later as we need. Is there two? Yeah. Okay. So just to make this a little bit kind of easier working, just like we did with the other one, we only have one coming out. Let's do a merge. And then cut the connection here, but direct it there. There we go. Now I can minimize that, and I got all that, but the merge is still... Oh no, that's the other merge, that's good. And that's where all the different parts are coming in together. Okay, so now we have all of that done. I want the kind of back part. And the back part here, let's start off with, I guess, cubes. And that will be merged over there. Let's display it here just so that way we don't have that offset that we have right here, but it just makes it a little bit easier for me to work with. But eventually we do want it to be offset like that so that it's on the ground. Okay, so this one, let's move it up. Oops, not size it up, but move it up. Have it here, and then let's push it back. Okay, this is going to be a polygon mesh, so that way we get the divisions. And let's see, I'm trying to think of the geometry that I need. So on the Y, maybe if we do it 2 or 3 might be better. Like 3 better, and then on the Z, I think we only need 2. Okay, so that's generally our shape, so let me extend it in the Z. And then now we can maybe modify this shape. Going to, whoa. Okay, let's try select it. My mouse has been acting up for a while. Hopefully I can afford to get a new one soon. So pulling it in like that. Let's pull it up. And then let's scale it in some more. And then maybe take the edge here. move that up. Do I want to do that? Nah. And then let's take it in primitive mode. I think what I want to do is maybe take it kind of flat like that. Okay, since it wants to select everything. There we go. Scale it flat. So that way it is flat. And then there we go. Make this a little bit thinner. And then this one I'm going to extrude in. So let's just go to polygon, poly extrude. And be something kind of like that. And then let's scale it in. Then maybe take this face, something kind of like that. Let's go into edge mode and scale that down, scale this up. Basically, I want to create kind of a track for the that kind of wheel part to come in at. Let's select these faces in the back, the primitives. Let's basically select all of this because that is going to be needing to scale down because we have all those extra faces there. I really need to get that new mouse. Do something kind of like that, and then on this one we can move it a bit up so that we got that kind of curvature. And then maybe with all of these faces I can scale them down and rotate them forward, push it forward a little bit, create a shape kind of like that. And then maybe this whole kind of center track. Scale it down a bit. There we go. Let's try that again. Nope. Let's try that now. There we go. There you go. Something kind of like that. Then this face, let's move it up. There we go. Let's go back to the overall shape for this box, and then let's place it a little bit better now. Boom, 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 boom. Have that there. I'm actually going to make it a tiny bit more forward. or back, sorry, not forward. Because I'm going to have other geometry coming in on it. And then let's rotate the whole thing. I guess that would be X. Just a little bit, and then let's bring it back down. Do we want to bring it down? Yeah. And then the overall shape of this is just a little bit too long. More like that. And then let's move it forward. Okay, so now that I got that, let's take these faces down at this stage. It's not selecting right. Let's try. Okay, let's draw a box around everything. There you go. Cool. Okay, so what I want to do is extrude. And that pulls those faces forward. I'm going to take them and move them down and rotate them a bit. And then let's inset this a little bit so that way it fits. Looks like it's not exactly modeled the same way, or did I select an extra face somewhere? It looks like I did have an extra face selected when I extruded. So let's get rid of this and this. That face, that face. There we go. Let's do a poly extrude. Oops. Did I do the poly extrude? Doesn't look like it. Okay. This face. This face. Extrude. Pull it out. That looks much better. Okay, so the distance looks fine there. Let's pull it down and rotate the whole thing. And then on the extrude, let's do an inset, so that should kind of pull it away a little bit from that surface. And I'll take those faces and extrude again. And then let's take these edges and move them down. Oops. And to me in the profile, if we look at it, it's almost like kind of insect wings. It kind of looks like it a little bit coming back. And once we get the rest of it, be kind of like a little bit like the body. It doesn't really, it's not going to end up having any wings at all, but it just gives it that feeling a little bit, so it's a little bit more insect-like, and I really, really like that. Okay, so let's do another transform. Let's connect that, merge it there, and then this one, let's move it to Z. Just moving it the wrong way. And can I actually use this? I probably can. I just don't want to transform from the point that I had it at. Let's break it there. I want to do it before the extrudes to give it little wings. Let's see. There, that's the one I want to be at. So let's connect this one down here. I don't need that templated. I just need to display it here. Cool. That is what I want. I just need it flattened a bit. And then let's move it back up. Probably flatten it even more. Do something kind of like that. And then maybe here, let's flatten it in the Z a little bit. Kind of like that. And then basically what I need is an edge loop here, so let's do an edge loop there. And now that we have those, let's select primitives. And we're going to extrude down. Oops. There you go. So it is extruded down. Going to inset it. And then transfer them forward. And then let's go into edge mode. And let's get this edge. Sure that it fits around that. And I can probably scale it in a little bit to make it fit a little bit better. And then these edges here, just so that they don't start collapsing in on themselves, we'll scale them in as well. And sorry for these issues. I'm just struggling with my mouse right now, not wanting to click properly. That looks good. Let's look at the shape overall. And I am liking that. Maybe on this other one I can take these faces. So we gotta go to primitives. Move them back and scale them in on themselves. And then on this one, let's go back to this edit. I want to adjust the edges on the inside here. Give it a little bit more of a streamlined look, and I moved it in the wrong way. Let's do that like that. And then let's scale them in towards each other. And let's select these primitives. Kind of do something similar to what we did on the other one, to just have them taper down more. Okay. So I like that, and then I just need a piece kind of coming up here, which is basically going to be this. So let's take another transform. And we're going to connect this edit to there. And let's rotate it on around the Z 180 degrees. Puts it down there, and then let's move it up. Uniform scale. And let's move it in the Z. And then let's rotate it along the X. Something kind of like that. Then we gotta reposition everything. That's basically what I want, so I'm just going to take this section over here and widen it. So I'm just going to select it, the faces, deselect all that, and then let's see if we can just fix it with a scale. Does that look overly crazy? Is it much wider than the other one? I think it looks okay. I could maybe tweak it later. Let's just select these faces here. Try again. Those two and those. And we'll scale it in towards itself. And I like the way that is much better. so it's going to fit along the shape like that. That's cool. Okay, so let's take all of this like we did with the other stuff, and let's not break it. Let's try that again. Move it over here. Let's put it in a network box, and this is going to be the tail. There we go. So oh, I did break something. Let's see. Oh, we put it all in let's select it all. There we go. There we go. So I got the tail done now. Whew. Cool, that looks good. Then I want to do kind of a turbine looking thing here in the center, so it's going to go part of the body. So let's open this up and just give ourselves more space to work with. Okay, so here I'm just going to add more geometry into the center, and maybe to keep it easy, what I'll do is create a, if I could type, sphere, and this is going to be polygon mesh. Let's move it up. And then we are going to adjust the radius. And maybe reduce this a little bit so that way it's not super crazy. And let's put this together in the merge here. Okay, so that is a cool shape there, and then let's do a another pipe like this one. So let's not pipe, but a torus. Let's see, can we use this same torus? Probably. So let's do a transform. And we're going to transform this guy into there. Let's bring it way down here. And then let's scale it down. Let's merge this into here. Okay, and then let's scale it some more. What is it? Control A? No, Control Shift A? Just A? I know A kind of does that. I'm just trying to be able to do it all at once, but if I can't, that is okay. Can do that, and then select it all the way around. Let's do a poly extrude. And we lost that selection. Okay, let's just do it along this one right here. What is that? Oh, it did do the extrude. Okay, let's... I don't know why it didn't connect it directly, but let's plug it in that way. And nope. Let's delete that. Didn't get the selection that I wanted. That's okay. Whew. Okay, so let's look at the turn the display flag on here so we can see this a little bit easier. There we go. So let's do a poly extrude here. And the distance will go negative so that it's inset like that. And I'll create the track, and then I basically want to do same thing on the inside here. And then let's extrude and set that. Great. So we have a bit of a track on there and a track on the outside. So let's look at it together. And maybe this sphere, I don't need it anymore. Not kind of a big fan of it there. I'll just create kind of like where we can see through it at this point, and then we'll create like some sort of turbine here. So on this shape, on the torus that we have here, it's basically just merged down all the way here. So what I want to do is add a extrude, or poly extrude, there we go, on this chain, and I want to replicate it but just on the inside. So let's go here, and then let's my mouse is acting up again. Okay. Basically it's trying to do like a double click or a multi-click on here. And I just want to select one. face. There we go. There we go. Can I save this group? I can just create a group. I can do it with that other thing, but since I'm having such a hard time actually selecting edges, let's go to model and make that a group. And then connect that there and break these and plug it in up here. There we go. We'll call this ring. And then on this, let's extrude ring. Let's display it. Great. So that's going to be the inside track, and then let's look at it all put together, see where we're at. Yeah. Nope. Something's broken later down the chain on that. So let's oops. Pushing the wrong button. Okay. So I'm going to push Y here, break that connection there, because I don't think it's used for really anything else. And merge it lower down the chain. Oops. And then let's see everything put together there. That looks much better. Okay, so now what I want, let's move this down a bit. Let's add a box. And let's make this flat. And size on the X smaller. And basically I'm just going to need to fit inside of the two edges that we have there, and then it's going to taper in towards the center. And then let's move this. Actually, let's not move it. Let's just keep it in the center. Oops. Okay, so this is going to be a polygon mesh. Let's do, what is this, in the 2, 2, 2, and where I want to actually add another one is in the X. There we go. Let's take the height and make it even smaller. And we'll select the edges. Got that edge loop. Move it up. Not sure why it did that. We don't need it to do that. Let's connect it over here. Okay, let's move this up. And there we go. And then we will select the primitives, the base here, and going to need both of them selected. Yeah. Okay. Scale that down. Okay, so on this, let's so the size on the Z is 1. So let's take this parameter, okay, to copy parameter, and then here we will paste relative reference, and then multiply it by 0.5, which will move it half the distance, not 0.2, but 0.5. Do negative 0.5. And we'll leave it the other way, and then we can adjust it if we need to. Okay, so now what I want to do is create a circle. Let's connect that into the merge. We're going to eventually hide this. And this, we don't need to connect in there anymore, because we're going to connect it into the circle. Okay, so let's make sure that we create it on the plane of this. And that should be connected in there as well. That looks good. Okay. So let's take the circle and move it up in Y. Actually, let's try this, and then we'll do a sweep. So the sweep is going to let us connect multiple things together. I think the circle is going to be there, and we can adjust it. So this is going to connect over here, and then we're going to break these, and this is going to connect over here. So we might have plugged it in backwards. Let's try this one on this side and this one on that side. Nope, that's not what I want to do. So that's copying the circle onto the cube, which is definitely not what we want. not seeing anything. Let's cut all these and let's try just a copy stamp. Primitives to copy, which will be this, which if we look at it is that box, great. And then template to copy to. Let's make this nerves curve. There we go. So we have them on the object. The only thing is that they're going in the wrong direction. So on this we can, let's say, turn off transform cumulative, and that doesn't quite do what we needed to. So let's do a transform. And rotate. Okay, so I want it to all aim towards the center. That is the problem that I am having now. Because it is all going in different directions. I mean, it's all going in the same direction, basically. And if I were to bring it in, yeah, it's always going to point out in a weird direction. So that's why we want the sweep to work. Let's try the sweep again. There we go, that looks better. Let's break this connection. I don't know why it didn't work the first time, but it's working now. So let's add a transform. Right here. Now that we've done that, we should be able to get it to come in towards the center, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so let's look at it with all the other geometry. And it is fitting in there. So let's look at doing it scale in the Z to get it going all the rest of the way. And it is not small enough right now to fit into there, so that would be scaling in the X, I believe. So that way we can get it completely in there. And then we also have this edit node. So let's put the visibility there, but modify this. We should have the faces here. There we go. And just extrude it enough to fit in the area that I want it to be in. There we go. So what we can do now is on the divisions we can increase this so that we have a lot of these. Here we go. I like that. Messed up somewhere where I lost this part to go onto the bottom. And before I go too much further, I noticed that there were a whole bunch of lines coming in from this one, so let's expand this. And then let's do a merge. Let's do one and then cut these, bring it in together, and then let's throw it into the graph there. That way we only have one line coming in. Okay, so we have that, and let's see. Have that shape. I have this shape here. That's that one. That's that one. Okay, this is where it kind of freaked out a little bit, probably because I removed the group here. So let's get rid of this. And push enter. That brings it over to the other side. Perfect. And let's make sure that we have it all there. That is great. And I think it blasted out also probably on this one. This is where we blasted that. And then I think here we probably just took the edges, not points, edges. And let's flatten it like that and rotate it. And then I'll select the point this time. And we can take this point and this point, bring it straight down. There we go. Let's see, we probably don't need that one anymore because of the warning that it was giving us, and we fixed it here. And then here, we'll just take this edge, or this point. I don't know why it freaked out, but it did, so we got that. And if we want to make sure that it's pretty much in the same spot, we can scale in these directions like that, and that should line them up at least on that axis. And it looks like on the front axis it should be lined up, so okay. I fixed all my oopsies I did. And then let's look at what we got with all of it together. And let's go to primitives. Oh, this one has the same thing. I can probably do these in subnets. It'd probably be better than little network boxes. So let's delete this edit node, because if we do it on this one and fix it here, I'll fix it on both points. And do the same thing we did with the other one, just scale it that way, and then we can line it up. Okay. So when we look at it all combined here, should look good. Okay, and then maybe on these things as well, I can add and extrude just to give it some thickness, because everything else has thickness so far. Polygon, poly extrude, give it an extrude like that, and then we'll tell it that we want to output back as well. Oops. And then this one is basically flipped inside out, so let's do a reverse node. Oh, because we're blasting everything but those faces. So here what we can do is just reselect what these blasts are. There you go. And push enter. And it should do it all for the other side as well. And for the scale, we might come in close to it, but I'm thinking for the most part we're going to be looking at this thing kind of at this distance. So looking at it at this distance, it's starting to come together. From here, actually we don't need the reverse node because it wasn't actually flipped. From here, we just want to add some of the detailing it to finish it off and make sure that it looks like it all belongs as one piece, because it's all just blocked in and very kind of loosely sewn. I mean, if this was just kind of like a low poly thing, it might be okay. But I'm probably going to add some details here. I want to make sure that there's like a door for these things to actually go into, stuff like that. So I want to spend some time to actually make this a little bit more believable, but I think this is a good place for the block in. So let's continue on with adding the details. Okay, let's add some details. So I'm probably going to start off, since it looks like it's lined up pretty well for that, extruding some holes here for the where the legs are going to go. And then I can kind of shove them in there. Probably looking at it, I might have to tweak a little bit of the design just so that we can hide some of the stuff, but we'll see what we do. Okay, so just because I'm thinking forward for the animation, although if I were to do it without the legs, then I wouldn't need to worry about that because then I can just have it flying around. But I don't think the design is as interesting if I don't have the legs. So let's find this torus. Yep, that's the torus, and let's put the display flag on this one that is not offset. And actually I'm going to put the display flag on that, and then let's put the template flag over here. Okay, so now I want to select these faces. There we go. All those faces, and then do poly extrude. Pull them in. Actually, maybe not that much. Do it a little bit here, and maybe inset it. Oops. Go over here to inset, and then extrude one more time in. Make sure that it's not going out through the top. That's good. So I like that, and then, like I said, kind of looking at it, let's minimize this and bring back the legs. So here on this one, I'm going to take this edit node and kind of shift it, and I'm going to get it just good enough, because I think what I'm going to do is maybe make some shielding around the side of it, around here, and I can do that as a completely separate piece. There you go. And then I still do want it to get thinner as it goes up, so do something kind of like that. So it just kind of starts off thin and then it goes out thicker. Or do I want to do the opposite of that, I think? I think that this will just make it easier for animation, and I think it looks okay. Let's go over here, turn on that. So obviously right now we can see all of that inside of the hole, but what I'm going to do is kind of do like a fender type design maybe, and add that on the outside, and then that will make it so that we don't see that, and it'll look like additional details, which will make it look better, I feel. Okay, and then let's minimize this and go back to the body. And then on the body here, let's again go to here. We've already adjusted that, but what would be kind of cool is let's just display this. Actually, let's go into a view like this. That will make it easier to just select it in the profile. And then let's go back to perspective. Oop. And then we'll look at it in wireframe mode and make sure that we deselect that. I forgot about the whole inside part. Okay, I think I deselected all of it, so let's go back to perspective and double check. Looks like it. Yep. Okay, so here I am just going to extrude, and on this extrude I am going to inset it, because I want it to be much thinner. And then I'm going to extrude again and push it in. Okay. I like that. And maybe on this one I'll inset it some more. Okay. Now let's look at some more details. It'd be nice to get some details here on the head, so let's look at where it's merged all together. That's the tail. Oh, I didn't push the actual flag. There we go. So I want this right here to fix a lot of this, because it's just not connected at all and it looks weird. So we'll do that on here. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room to work with the nodes, because it's getting pretty crazy. Okay, so with this I can extrude it and kind of leave it empty. I'm not sure if I want to do that for this. I probably want to fill it. So let's see, we have the sphere here. Oops, not what I want to do. Okay, that's the one, and then it's merged together with everything else there. So here, is there a, is that what it does? I don't think that does what I was hoping it to. I need to fill in that section. Back here, I mean, I could do it with the bridge, but that would be quite a bit of work. Let's see if I can do it in the blast. We compute normal, delete unselected. What we can do, maybe, let's take all of this and get rid of the blast node, just to kind of cheat a little bit and make it easier for us. And delete, and then let's do a transform. And then we will add that, and then we can scale on the X. Not the X, sorry, it's going to be the Z. So let's make it completely flat like that. And then we will transform it. And let's just push it a little bit more back. Okay, so it's not a perfect solution, and it's probably better options out there than what I just did, but that should give us everything kind of the way we were expecting originally. Let's double check that, and nope. Looks like there's some other stuff depending on that, so let's not do it that way then. Okay, I got back to where I had the blast node. That means I have to do stuff down here. Oh well. What's this one? That's that bottom half. And then it's merging it back over here, so we can do it on this side here. Because that is, oops, the sphere there. Okay, let me pause this and figure out how to fill this in the back. Okay, that was quick. I just clicked on the wrong node when I did fill. We want the polyfill, not the fillet. And when we do that, it will fill the hole for us, which is great. That's what we want. And then when we look at it all together, great. That is exactly what we want now. So now we want some sort of geometry that shows this being connected to the rest of it, and probably what I'm going to do is create a tube. Well, not probably, that is what I'm doing. Tube, there we go. Connect it in there, and let's take this a mesh, and then let's add caps on the x-axis. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to just adjust the radius, and then let's transform that. Or I don't want to transform node, sorry. I just want to move to center. So let's move this up, and let's move it forward, and let's move it over to the side. So now the height we can kind of adjust here, and then center it to be more along where we want it. Not sure how much I'm liking this, but we'll work with it. Or not the radius, I want the height. Let's make adjustment on the height. And then, now that we have that, let's move the center. So once I do that, I like it a lot better. I'm just not sure how we're going to justify that it's connected yet. But we'll take it one step at a time. switch over. We are in primitives. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna extrude. Extrude. Why is it freaking out? Let's just directly add an edit node over here. There we go, we can select edges. Now let's try selecting primitives. Okay, so let's just put in extrude, poly extrude. Okay, that is doing what I expected. So let's select the group and basically select that and push enter. There we go. So let's put the distance back at 0, inset it. Oh, it might be, do we have it on the wrong types? It's on mesh. I want to be on polygons. That's probably why it was giving us issues. Okay, let's try that again. Now this looks better. Okay, so I have that, and let's try the extrude now. There we go, and we will inset it. Oops. That is good, and then we'll do another extrude. And this time we'll bring the distance down like that. Then let's select these faces, and we will do an extrude. And let's bring the inset in like this. Do we want to give it kind of a push out, maybe? Yeah, let's do that. Push it out a little bit, and then we'll extrude again, and then inset, push in, and then extrude again, and push it in like that. Okay, let's look at all of this kind of merged together. So that's looking a little bit better. Let's add a transform. And this one will scale -1 on X. So it's on the other side, and we also need to reverse the normals. So that way it's all looking better. Maybe some of these we can save that and do that for these joints, because that looks pretty cool, and we can keep the whole the consistency in design. So I'll just keep it over here for now, and we will likely use it in the legs. Okay, so we have those done, and then I think I'm going to add kind of like a little bit of armored fendered look around this so that way we can ooh, and then there's like, it'd be nice to have an extra edge here, so that's what I'm going to do first. Let's select this loop and add a extrude. Here just for some detail, and then that gives us oops. Okay, we have both of those, and then here at the bottom, what I'll do is select here, and then select these. There you go. So it's going to be kind of like a seam for us. So we're going to do a poly extrude, inset this, okay, looks like I had some extra stuff selected that I didn't want to have selected. And this is all going to be in here, so I want to make sure that I do it from that point, because this is the torus there. Okay, let's try that again. Turn the flag on here. There you go. Select that side. Oops. See, that's probably what I did, where it kind of selected all the way across. That was an accident on my part. I'll double check for that next time. Here we go. Okay, let's try that extrude again. Got it there, and then inset. That is great. I just need to take these edges here and bring them in. Same thing with the ones on this side. Actually, looking at that, we gotta do it all the way up so it doesn't mess up too much our geometry. Then let's move it down. And then these pieces here, same thing with, oops, I didn't select it all over there, but we're gonna have to make sure we kind of play with it a little bit. Okay, so let's try these. these polygons or edges, we want to make sure that we scale down so that we can try to keep the let's scale these down a little bit first so that they match that line, and then we'll have to add that line to the selection. And then now we can scale it down and move it up to try to keep that whole scene going. And looking at this, I want to make sure that this is also approximately the same size as that seam, because we're gonna try to continue that around there. Okay. So let's go back to primitives. And we will do all this. And there we go. And then let's do an extrude. Gonna bring it in. Whoa, not too much, just a little bit. So I got it all kind of brought together. That looks okay. So now I want to go in. Let's turn on the flag here. We're gonna select some faces. There you go, that looks okay. So let's do a extrude. I'm going to inset it a little bit. Then let's extrude again. Then we're going to be pulling it out like that, and then let's inset it. Whoa. So it just doesn't know what to do with the inset, so we'll model it, and likely what we'll have to do is blast half of it so that way we get the object to look symmetrical on both sides. So let's go into edges, here, and there. And then let's take the vertexes, points, take them and pull them down. That looks okay. This one should be a little bit more than these. Here can go a lot more out there. Same with these. So if the front and the back aren't perfectly the same, it's okay. As long as they're symmetrical on both sides. Okay, just kind of mostly shaping it. This one I want it to flare out quite a bit more because I want it to be able to cover that other structure underneath. And I might have to do another extrude to get it exactly the way I want it, but also this. Let's, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Let's extrude it, or not extrude it, sorry, scale it. Oops. And we'll pull it out a bit. Excuse me. Okay, let's go back to points. And it looks like these will probably want to be pushed out a lot more. And maybe this out more, but not quite as much as the other. Let's see how that looks like as a whole, and then if I like it, we'll go back. What happened? What happened to all the modeling I was doing? Doo-doo-doo. Huh? I lost all the modeling. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. That's why. That makes sense. Let's turn the visibility here. Wireframe. Am I liking that at all? No, I'm not. Let's take back up here in the edit node, and I want to turn the template there. There you go. So I select primitives. Let's scale this one down. Let's try that again. There you go, that looks better. Okay, scale this here, move this over. I'm just kind of looking at the shape. I think it just destroys the whole design. So, sorry about this, but I'm going to get rid of all this. Let's see. At what point did we start doing all that? Okay. So I'm going to select all of these here and just blast them. Oh, maybe not that much. Let's try blasting these, because I did kind of like the seams that we had there. Oh, just the last few. There we go. I like that there. So let's see it with the whole object. Let's turn that off, and then I'm just going to put it on smooth shaded so that I can see it really quick. So that is good. I just hate having to see all this in here, so what I'm going to try is maybe just adjusting this inside edge right there. And let's turn on template there. And the display flag here. There we go. So, going to try is just selecting these edges in here. Bring them down and maybe scale them out a little bit. I'm going to have to bring it up a tiny bit so that way it doesn't overlap. Oops. It doesn't kind of fold in on its own geometry. And then something kind of like that, and that's going to be overall better. Okay, let's view it there, and let's turn off the wireframe, or yeah, just put it on smooth shaded. That's a little bit better. Maybe I can do the same thing up here. Let's get rid of this edit node. We don't need that edit node. We just want to edit it up in this edit node. Take this, 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 and this. And then let's turn on the template flag down here. And what we can do is maybe scale it down like that and then transform it up. So that way it gives it kind of like it knows that it's going to be kind of adjusted like that. And then let's go in and just take these points go to select mode and select these last couple of points. There we go. Just so it doesn't look like it has a bump down there, and that it was done kind of for a reason, kind of more of a mechanical reason. There we go. So I like that a lot more than what we had a moment ago. Maybe here we can take these up. And these up a little bit as well. Okay. That looks a lot better. Okay. And depending on kind of how detailed I want this, I'm not sure if I want to go any more like huge details compared to what I have right now, but maybe. Let's go into maybe, let's see, what area do I want to work on right now? Let's go back here and add a little bit more details there. I guess more on this. And let's turn on the template flag here. And then what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do these here first, and then here, and do the same thing here. Oops. There we go. So what I'm going to do is poly extrude, inset them, okay. And then I want to do this here as well, and I'm going to poly extrude 0.083, which I think is what the other one was. And then now that I've done that, I can take all of these here, and then I'm going to extrude. Just pull them out a bit and then inset them, and another extrude, inset them, and another extrude. This time we'll pull it in. So it gives it a little bit of a cool detail back here. Maybe along these it'd be kind of cool to have a little bit of a ridge. So with these, I'm going to do an extrude and put a bit up there. Okay, so let's see display, and I can turn off the template flag there. Ooh, no, whatever that was, no. Got some odd merge node down here. Cool. And over here that doesn't make super lot of sense, but I'm just gonna leave it for now. Maybe what I'll do is add a extrude to give it kind of a lip here. Let's go into the side, yeah. And we'll go back up to the polyfill here. And then just select these. Let's go back into the perspective view. And then we will do a poly extrude. And then another poly extrude. Then another poly extrude. And another poly extrude. Going poly extrude crazy. And another poly extrude. Push it in and then inset it. Something kind of like that. So let's see what it looks like all combined together. Wireframe mode. Oops. Let's make sure we encapsulate that there. Cool, that's looking better overall, but maybe what I'll want to do is after I've done that, do a transform. And that is doing all of that. Let's because I feel like if we make this bigger, it will solve some of our issues that we're having. So let's just turn on the flag here. Do a blast node and a transform node. Actually, not a transform node, another blast node. Actually, instead of doing a copy of that, we'll end up copying this one once we do it here. So what we're going to do is tell it to what we're going to be blasting. So here we have that, and then if we copy and paste that, now we have the reverse. Now that we have that, we can look at it with everything put together. Template that, and then here in this we'll do a transform node. There we go. And then here we can kind of scale it up and then bring it down, and let's make sure that we are having that as the visible thing. Actually, let's make this visible so we can see that a little bit easier. Take that there and then maybe push it back a little bit. And then maybe scale it in the X. And scale it in the Y. Here, and then scale it a bit more on the Y. Close enough, I think. And got a cool looking guy here. I did copy over some nodes. We got some nodes here. And let's start looking at these legs. We've kind of hidden where they're coming in over there, but we'll probably want to include some of these as the joints here. So we have the cylinder, and let's see which one this is. That's that. Okay, so we basically just need to get this one in that right spot. So if we look at it now, it's probably bringing them all the way up here. So all we gotta do is add a transform. Then we'll fix this where it's all in there. Actually, we can do that now. Bring all these way down here. And that gives us some room to throw these into there. Okay, so let's translate them down. Let's do uniform scale. And then I guess that would be rotating on the Z. Whoa. Okay. Let's move it in the X, and that's too much. Oops, what did I do? Adjust and adjust. Oops, not out. We want to pull it back. And then let's look at it all together, see if that's something that we like. And I believe so. That is looking pretty nice. I just gotta make sure that we align it a little bit better. Almost there. Cool. That lines up a lot better. And then maybe we want to move it slightly down. And then we have the tube here, which we can make a transform node. We'll connect that and then get rid of this one. And this will connect to the merge node. So let's move these over that way and these that way, so that way we're not crossing as many lines. Okay, so this one, gonna so we have this and this and this. Oh, I want it to be from that. There we go. Why are we not seeing two? Let's put the display flag over here. And oh, because I'm merging it into, no. What did I do? What did I do? So that's that one. So we don't need to merge this over here. I don't know what happened. Let's copy and paste that, and then we'll merge that there. And then now this should give us a second one if we look at it here. Okay, great. That is good. That is not good. Okay, that's better. Sorry that took so long. Okay, let's take this one, bring it up, bring it forward, and let's push it out. Then overall scale. Now we have to make adjustments again. Probably should have scaled it first. Boo boo boo. Oops. .25. That looks like a more appropriate size. So let's take the height down and push it back, and then let's fine tune that. So that looks okay, it's just that these are too big coming into it, so let's make those adjustments on the boxes. So that is just a straight box, so we want it to taper down. There we go. And then, now that we have that, we should have this one here. So let's have the display flag there. Just need that one. Then let's scale it down and then transform it. There we go, and then I'm going to go back to this other one and just make sure that we line it up completely. Great. Okay, let's go over here. Cool, that's looking pretty good. I could stand to have a little bit more detail over here. And definitely on the back tail part of the drone that we're making here. So with all of these, going to not edit there. Let's find the tail. Okay. Not that one, that one. Cool. This is where I want to work from. There we go, that side, and then that side. And yes, this as well. Yep, that looks like what I want. Do I? Nah, I don't want these. Okay, we'll take that and extrude. We'll pull it out and then inset it. That gives it, oops, a little bit more roundness to the shape. And then I'm thinking with these here, actually we'll do them one section at a time. Actually, let's see. We can do an extrude. Let's see if there's a different option for us to kind of tweak this extrude a little bit. Extrude. There we go. And then let's try the inset. That insets the whole thing. Individual elements. There we go. So that extrudes each one individually, which is what I want right now. And then I'm going to extrude again. We're going to inset and bring it in, then extrude again and bring it in. Cool. And now that we've done that, it should kind of have done that to this geometry, but I modified it as well. So let's get rid of this edit node. That fixes the way it looks. I'm not going to worry about fixing that, I don't think, because I don't think we're going to really notice when we're looking at it. Then on the back fin, which should be this one, let's select these faces here. Let's put the display there. We'll put that, and let's scale it because it's causing some issues with the display right now. that fixes that whole issue that we just had. So what we can do now is select all of these here. Maybe we'll connect it. That could be kind of interesting. And then we will do a extrude. It's basically going to inset it, then extrude again. This time we'll put in some distance, and we're gonna have to inset it as well, looking like, oops, when I do that here, it's causing some issues with the top. So now that we've finished extruding those, what I can do is maybe select these and just move it a tiny bit higher. So that way we don't have that interpenetration area. And maybe I can take these and just move it down as well. Select these faces here. They're going through the geometry, and we'll flatten it out, bring it forward, let's flatten it out more. There we go. I'm liking that. Let's display it down here. Now that I'm seeing that detail, I kind of want to add it to these as well right here. So I think I will, because it looks really cool. Oh, maybe lack of that. That could be interesting. Oh, and I'm doing it in the wrong spot. I don't want to add that detail down there. It's going to be all in the fin. There you go. Oops. Okay, and then let's extrude. Nope. Okay, I'll just turn the flag on over here. Make sure I have the faces selected. And then, oops, inserted it, and then let's do another extrude, and we can push it in. Cool. Let's see that. Add some more detail, that's cool. And then let's display all this over here together. So that is looking cool. Now I want to do something here in the front. I was kind of thinking of like some sort of brim. So, although I don't know if that's the greatest idea. let's look at it in wireframe. Not wireframe, but shaded with wireframe. Cool. I am thinking, yeah, I'll take all of this. And let's extrude, except that I did it in the wrong spot. Let's get rid of that. Let's go up into the main body. And one of these is the eye, probably this one. So this is the top one. That's what we're going to be controlling. And let's template this. Okay, so now we're on that node. Have all of that. Let's poly extrude. It's just going to come up kind of like that, but let's inset it. Oops. Let's do another extrude. And this one we're going to inset. And then if we pull it out, kind of have this shape, but if we pull it in, I'm kind of digging the way that was kind of looking. Let's kind of go in a little bit here, and then let's do another extrude. And make it come in like that. That's looking pretty cool. Let's turn the template off on that. Oops. Don't need to template it, I just need to see it. That's looking pretty cool. And let's take these faces here and not extrude them from there, but bring it back down over at this stage. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to extrude that, inset it, and then extrude again. Bring it in. So that's going to be some little notches there, and then I'll put like antennas coming out of here. So that way it can kind of communicate. And then this just looks really flat, so I'm going to select all the faces on there, which I guess is here. Actually, now that I did that selection, I kind of feel like I want to do something else other than this selection that I was doing. I think maybe these here, that could be kind of interesting. Let's do an extrude. Gonna inset it and then extrude again, pull it in, that adds a little bit more detail there. That's just kind of interesting to look at. So that's looking pretty cool. I just want to add the antenna up here, and then I think I'll call it a day on this one. Okay, so let's go up to the head area, or the main body. Could probably separate this onto also have a head. And it's just going to merge there. So let's create a sphere. We'll merge it down there, and let's put this into a poly mesh. We will adjust it. Boom, boom, boom. Let's adjust the radius. Do 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 do. Pull that forward. I'm not sure if that's really the best look for it. Okay. Let's get rid of this sphere. I'm just going to build it straight from the geometry in the head. So we have that, the geometry. Ooh, cool, and it's still selected. Let's just keep on extruding. And then extrude. Let's see if we add divisions. curved. And spine control. I kind of want to bend it that way. I don't really necessarily want to twist it, but that's kind of interesting. I did it less, and just did it kind of like that. And then do the inset even more, just so that it's something, a little something. Let's look at the final display. Does that work for me? I think that works well enough. I am liking this. Let's go back to the main body. What's this? That's that. There it is. Oops. Let's not do that. But let's turn on the templating here. I just kind of feel like if we go back here, we can maybe select kind of a range here. Cool, something like that. And then let's extrude. Did I miss? Nope. Let's go over here, individual elements, and then inset. Actually, let's put this at 0. Let's pull it up first. No, I do want to inset first, sorry. And got that. I wanted to kind of do the same thing that we did here, just slightly different. Okay, so let's do another extrude. I'm going to inset and bring it down like that. Great. Now that I see that, I kind of want to do it to the head here, which should be one of these. Oops. Here we go. So on this one, maybe take the same idea. Here and extrude it, individual elements, inset it, and then extrude again and bring the distance in. That could be kind of fun. I thinking whether or not I want that last row, because it makes it kind of dense there. It might be better as a whole row instead of individual rows like that, so I'm going to maybe on this one, instead of individual elements, connected components, do the same thing as the other one. Nah, I'm just gonna get rid of that completely. Deleted. There we go. I think at this point I just might be overworking it if I go much further. It's supposed to be kind of more low poly. I'm thinking of maybe applying it into a game, so that could be fun. Alright, so this is where I am going to leave this awesome little guy. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye.